Hello everybody, I hope you're well and welcome back to Voicenotes with Jordan Theresa. Diva down! Diva down! What? If you don't follow me on Instagram or you haven't looked at the community tab on YouTube, you may not know, you may not have heard the news, which is there was no episode last week because I had my appendix out. What? So today's episode is going to be a little bit more. So this episode is things that I think are chic or things that are chic. Yeah, this episode is going to be things that are chic, and it's going to be like, I guess, more of like sort of like a off the cuff personal, like little chatty episode. But I will obviously have timestamps as usual if you don't want to hear about the appendicitis. But I do feel like if you're here for what I think is chic, then I think you will also be here for the appendicitis. You know what? If you don't want me at my appendicitis story time, you don't deserve me at the things that I think are chic. But yes, I missed last week's episode because I had appendicitis. So please don't mind if this episode is like more of like a, like less research. I get kind of insecure about the podcast sometimes that I've like set like a bit of a bar or like a bit of a precedent that I'm only going to do like these really heavily, they're not even heavily researched, not heavily researched at all. But like, you know, those sort of like topical discoursey episodes when I would love to sprinkle in a little personal episode like this every once in a while that isn't spurred on by the fact that I had appendicitis. But so yes. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about my appendicitis because, and you know what? I'm so glad that Jack is not here when I'm recording this because he has heard me repeat this story maybe about 20 times. But so I had my appendix out last week. I'm doing okay. I had keyhole surgery. I've never had like surgery as an adult before. The last time I had surgery was when I like broke my arm when I was like 3. I've never been put under general anesthetic before. It was crazy. So should we wind it back? Should we wind it back to like how the hell we got here? So it started on a Sunday. Fuck, it's Sunday. Rest in peace, Sophie Anderson. It started on a Sunday, a fateful Sunday, where I was just chilling at home and all of a sudden I get like this all over tummy ache, right? Stomach ache. I get this all over stomach ache. And sorry to Morag and Elena for this, but 2 days earlier, Morag and Elena hosted a barbecue and there were chicken wings. I ate like 4 chicken wings and I honestly thought that this stomach ache was because of their chicken wings. No insult on their cooking, just more like it was a nighttime barbecue. So my friends hosted a barbecue, but it was after work. By the time the coal gets going, the food gets slapped on, it was dark outside. We had to put a lamp outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some pink chicken that got lost in the mix there. No insult on Morag and Elena's chicken wings, no insult on Abel's manning of the barbecue, which none of us wanted to do. So shout out him and shout out Morag and Elena for hosting, obviously. Don't mind me if I have the worst posture ever because I'm in pain. But so I blamed Morag and Elena's chicken wings at first, and this stomachache, it persists throughout the day. And then I thought, am I due on my period? Like maybe it's my period. So I am like going about the day. I wake up on Monday morning. I've still got a stomach ache, which I would like to say I never get stomach aches ever. I'm very lucky. I don't have IBS. I don't have any like intolerances or allergies really. Like I very, very rarely get stomach ache. So I was like, this is really, really weird. So anyways, the time passes, the day goes on, it's the working day and I'm working from home. I can't remember why. And anyways, and so at this point I was like, God, my stomach is like really hurting. Like, again, it was bearable. I wasn't like, it was very, very bearable. And then I was like, okay, maybe maybe I shouldn't put this on the internet, but also like, I'm human. I'm sure this is relatable. Girls, I thought it was trap wind. I was like, it must be trap wind. So I start doing yoga, YouTube tutorial yoga, like, yoga for trapped wind. I'm on a YouTube tutorial, right? I'm on my rug in the living room doing yoga for trapped wind, and nothing is happening, nothing is changing. And I'm reading the comments, right? And all these comments are like, wow, this was amazing. Like, I'm thinking, what the hell? Am I just not doing it right? So anyways, it was actually Jack's mum's birthday. So we go out for dinner And during this dinner, my stomach is still aching. The way that I would describe it is that it was like an all over ache, like I had exercised, right? Like it felt very tight and like very strained. But again, it was completely bearable. You know, I could walk around, I could live my life. I was just quite uncomfortable. Anyway, so I stand up from dinner. So it started on Sunday afternoon. This is Monday evening. I stand up from dinner. Oh, I feel like a real sharp pain in my right side. And my brain immediately goes, uh-oh. Like, I immediately was like, that's a symptom of appendicitis. So we're walking down and I say to Jack and his mum, I go, I think I might have appendicitis. Like, it's gone to my right side. And Jack's mum's like, no way. Like, you know, when you have appendicitis, you're like bent over in pain. Like, it's like really unbearable. And I remember my mum, she told me that when she had appendicitis, because I called her and I was like, I think I might have appendicitis. My mum was like, Jordan, when I had appendicitis, I had to like crawl to the toilet. Like, if you're like going about living your life, like you are probably fine. So I was like, okay, fine. So then every night, guys, I'm going to sleep and I'm going, please give me a stomachache, go away. Please. Because I don't like anyone. I don't like being uncomfortable. So I go to bed. I wake up the next day. It's solely on the right side and it hurts a lot more. Again, very bearable, but I was beginning to waddle around. Like my posture was sort of bent forward. I was beginning to waddle around a little bit and I was like, that's not good. So again, I Google the appendicitis symptoms and it says, if you have had an all over stomachache and it's gone to your right side, you need to call 111. So I call 111. If you're not from the UK and you don't know what 111 is, it's basically the non-emergency medical line. So it's genius, by the way. I cannot believe that I think 111's only been around for like a few years. Absolute genius. Because it stops people from going to the emergency room when they don't have to. The emergency room, okay, American. We call it A&E. A&E. Anyway, stops people from going to A&E if they don't need to. So I call them, tell them my symptoms. A clinician calls me back. He goes, yeah, you need to go to the hospital. And it's so funny because I want to make it very clear. God bless the NHS. God bless our NHS. Like, I feel so grateful to live in a country with universal healthcare. Nearly every like medical practitioner that I spoke to was amazing. The people that looked after me, amazing. I will say we'll get into it. The process of going to the hospital is very difficult in this country and getting doctor's appointments and things like that because the NHS is very underfunded because of 10 years of Tory underfunding and austerity, etc. Sorry, oh my God, we're getting political, but I mean, shock. That's my job. So this is the thing. When they tell you need to go to the hospital, they go, yeah, you're going to need to go to the hospital. And you go, oh, because when you go to the hospital, you're waiting around for a really, really long time. So anyways, I go to the hospital and the wait wasn't that bad to get like my bloods taken and stuff. So I was waiting for a couple of hours, got my bloods taken, and then I get taken into another room by a doctor and she says to me, oh yeah, like there's an infection coming up in your blood. You probably have appendicitis. She's like feeling around. She's like, yeah, it seems like it's probably going to be appendicitis. But again, I would like to say, I am, I've got my laptop out, I'm watching things, I'm working. Like, again, it's like the pain is very, very tolerable. And then they sit me in this chair in a hallway and they go, you're going to wait for your CT scan now. Guys. And again, this is no fault of the people that work there. This is a fault of underfunding. I waited 6 hours for my CT scan. And this was the low of the, actually, was this the low? This was the one of 3 lows. I had 3 lows. Top 3 lows. This is Watch Mojo. I had 3 lows. This was the first one. And the reason why it was a particular low, because again, I was sat in a comfy chair in a hallway. I had my laptop, I had my phone, I had my headphones. I packed a bag before I went, like just in case I was going to be staying in the hospital overnight. But because I potentially had appendicitis, every medical practitioner, doctor, nurse that I spoke to told me that I couldn't eat anything yet. They were like, no, they were like, you can't eat anything yet just in case we need to rush you into surgery. So I'd eaten at 8 p.m. the day before and I didn't get my CT scan till 6 p.m. the day after. I'm telling you guys, I was hangry. I never ever thought in my life I would experience hanger, but I did. I have never in my life been so hungry before. It was so bad. So I had to go 22 hours without eating because of the potential of getting surgery. But because my surgery was going to be the next morning, I was then allowed to eat until midnight. Woohoo. a win is a win. So that was the low because I was really hungry. And then when I went to go get my CT scan, the doctors hadn't, or the nurses hadn't put a cannula in. So they tried to put a cannula in for me. It didn't work. It was so painful. I cried. And then they sent me back and I started crying even more. And I was like, I just want to get my CT scan. But I got seen very quickly after that, so it was fine. But anyways, so I see one of the, I guess like the head of the like ward, and he tells me, I don't think it's appendicitis, This is before I did my CT scan. He's like, you're walking around, you're fine, like all this. I was like, yeah, I know. He was a bit stumped. But anyways, it comes back. He's like, you have appendicitis. It's mild appendicitis. You are third on the list to get the surgery tomorrow morning. So I was like, woo, okay, let's go. Because you know what I was worried about? Because I had missed my management launch party to go to the hospital. I was really worried that I had like waited around and there was going to be nothing wrong with me, or I was just going to have like a bit of a tummy ache that was going to go away tomorrow. So like I was like, and during this like where I couldn't eat anything because I might have been getting surgery, I did nearly leave the hospital because I was like, I'm waiting for so long. Like, anyways, surgery's the next day and I was very nervous. And so you know what they do, guys? Did you know this? So I always assumed that because I was going on general anesthetic, I was being put to sleep. I always assumed that they would like take you into a pre-room, put you to sleep, and then take you into the operating theatre. Wrong. They take you straight into the operating theatre when you're wide awake. I scooched myself onto the table. And so that like was really freaking me out. And at this point I started crying again. And this wasn't a low. I was just crying because I was really, really nervous. But my surgeons were quite dishy. Like all of a sudden I was self-conscious about what my organs look like. Like I was like, I hope I have healthy organs. And I remember, so my mum came and visited me at the hospital the next day. And I don't know whether my mum is very funny, but I don't know whether my mum is always this funny or whether I was high on morphine or whether it was a mix of both, because Jack was there as well. And he was like, your mum was literally doing stand-up comedy. She was being hilarious. So when I told my mum about the dishy surgeons, she was like, oh, Jordan, did you check their shoes? They've always got nice shoes on. I was like, what? But then she made a really good point where surgeons aren't allowed to wear anything. The only thing that they're allowed to wear that's sort of quote unquote their own is their shoes. So my mum said that surgeons usually wear really nice shoes. But anyway, so if anyone's getting surgery, please check out your surgeon's shoes and confirm or deny my mum's hypothesis. Anyways, so I get the surgery. I wake up. I'm high as fuck. I was so fucked. And I was having the time of my life because I had loads of morphine and I was also the general anesthetic. I was like, whoa. And then so Jack came and visited me. Jack was there every day, apart from the day that I went there. Jack was there every single day, absolute trooper. And I had my surgery and I thought it was okay. We hit a low the day after because, so did you know that when you get keyhole surgery, they pump you full of air. They pump you full of air to see all of the organs. And so what happens when the air is it gets trapped in your shoulders. So you wake up with the worst shoulder pain. The shoulder pain was actually worse than anything to do with my stomach. And that was pretty bad. So I have my surgery and I remember looking on the NHS website and it says with appendicitis, you can leave, you can usually leave the next morning. And I remember like after surgery thinking, I feel really bad. Like I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to leave tomorrow morning. Anyways, I wake up the next day. It was my low day. I was in a lot of pain. It was just the shoulder pain, the stomach pain. My posture was awful because I was like walking around hobbling. And I had to cry in front of everyone, like a proper like, because I was in so much pain. But then my mum came and it was fine. And then Jack came and it was absolutely fine. But yeah, so, and this is the thing, the surgeon came round and it wasn't the surgeon, it was like the doctor in charge of the ward. He came round and he said to me that, guys, I'm not like the other girls. I had a complicated appendicitis procedure. They nearly had to convert it to open surgery. That would have been so much worse. So basically, because appendicitis usually happens over the space of like literally a day, and mine happened over 3 days. my appendix had like adhesions and it like stuck to a bunch of stuff in my body. So I was under for like 2 extra hours than they planned. So not only is obviously they were operating me for longer, so like my body is like, and I was being pumped with even more air. So like my body was obviously in so much pain, but also I was very sick because I was obviously under a lot more general anesthetic than I was intended to. Yeah, it was a lot. And so that was the second low. And then the third low was when I left, I could taste freedom, guys. There was those windows that could not open in my ward. So I could taste the freedom. And they go, all right, you just need to get your prescription of antibiotics. You just have to go to the discharge lounge. I was like, no. I was like, the discharge lounge? She's like, yeah. And I was like, how long am I going to be in the discharge lounge for? Oh, it shouldn't be too long, guys. And I would like to say this isn't me even complaining. This is more just like I want you guys to put you guys in my shoes. I was in that hospital for 4 days. I was so close to tasting freedom, and then there's one more hurdle. I had to sit in the discharge lounge, which was at the core of the hospital. It was at the heart of the hospital, windowless room, painted yellow walls, surrounded by other people who were getting discharged. And it was people, so with the discharge lounge is usually for older people who need to be taken home by the hospital or by family members. They sit there and wait. I was there just waiting for my prescription. And I was like, I'm just waiting for my prescription. Please. Like, guys, I was being so dramatic. I was being such a diva. It was ridiculous. And I only had to, I had to wait an hour and a half. And guys, when you can taste the freedom and you don't know how long it's going to be, oh my God. Like, we watched the end of the racing, an entire episode of Tipping Point, the beginning of the chase. Like, guys, but I feel much better now. It was a shaky road, you know, I was like struggling to get out of bed, like things like that, as in like physically get out of bed. But what I will say, number one, this was like so last time I was in hospital was like 4 years ago with a kidney infection. And I was so ill that like the difference between being in hospital when you're ill and being in hospital when you have something physically wrong with you, like I would much rather take the physical over the illness, because I was so unwell when I had a kidney infection. I had the worst fever. I was freezing cold. I was so sick. And it took me like, I'd probably say a month to like get back to completely like full health. Like it really like knocked me for a very long time. Meanwhile, with this, guys, I finished my antibiotics yesterday. I'm going to the pub today. Woo! But yeah, that's what happened. So I like just feel so grateful that we have universal healthcare. I feel so grateful for every medical practitioner, nurse, doctor, like there's like ward assistants who looked after me. Like it was so tough, and like they were just all amazing, like truly amazing. And I feel so grateful for my health, and I feel so grateful that I listened to my instincts. I went to the bloody hospital. I know no one likes going to the hospital, but I'm glad that I did it. But yes, that is what happened to me, guys. That's what happened to me. But we're back. We're so back. I'm feeling much better. Thank you all for your well wishes. I'm like easing myself back in still. I need to like reply to people on my Substack and stuff. I know. I'm so sorry. And I think also what this like illness, what my illness taught me, what me having my appendix out taught me is I felt so loved. Like I really did. I made a joke at the beginning, like before I got my surgery, like I'm loving all of the attention. Yeah, like obviously and then after the surgery, I was like, this was not worth the attention. But I felt and still do feel so loved. Jack was there every day, which was, it was very funny because Jack literally looked like he walked off a movie set when he came and visited me, because obviously he's just got the most perfect hair. My hair keeps falling in this really chic way. Like his hair, he walks in like suit trousers, a little sweater, perfect hair. I looked awful, and I actually remember the day. So the day that I wanted to get discharged, he came and like surprised me in the morning, and I was in not a great state. I was in a hospital gown, unbrushed hair. My ward, like my little ward bed was like a bit of a mess. And I said to Jack, I was like, I'm going home today. Like I'm going home today. They hadn't told me yet, but I was like, I want to go home today. So when I'm telling you, it was like Project Runway. Like we start tidying up the ward. I go shower, not even shower. I couldn't shower when I was there because I couldn't stand up for long enough. But I had like gave myself a wet wipe bath. It's giving Glastonbury. I gave myself a wet wipe bath. I washed my face, brushed my teeth. I put the clothes that I wanted to leave the hospital in. Manifestation. And I remember we made the bed, and I like sat on top of the bed like waiting for the people that do the rounds to come to me and tell me if I could go home. And you know what? They drew the curtain. They went, "Oh, so much better. It worked." But honestly, I felt like Jack was like, "Oh God, I should have bought some makeup." And then I was like, honestly, it would have been like putting makeup on a corpse. It would have been like taxidermy. Or no, like, honestly, I looked like I belonged in a morgue. But yeah, Jack was there every day. My mum came and saw me. My parents came and visited me on the weekend. I got sent flowers, care packages, cards. Like, guys, it was really heartwarming and really touching. I will say, totally made me reevaluate my relationship with my phone being in that hospital, because I did nothing but scroll on my phone. I watched some stuff. I watch YouTube videos and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I don't even want to consider what my screen time was like when I was in the hospital, but we'll allow it because I had my appendix out. But yeah, I'm going to get back onto my thoughts of the week, Jam. We've been missing a few thoughts of the week. I know, I'm sorry, but there's no thoughts of the week, obviously, because truly no thoughts, head empty, appendix out of my body. But should we do a little outfit of the day? It is a rogue sunny day today in London. It is 25 degrees. And you know what? So Jack's going to a wedding today. The bride hired an Etsy witch, very topical. The bride hired an Etsy witch to do good weather on her wedding day. It's been pissing it down non-stop this September. It's going to piss it down on the weekend. Today's her wedding. Gorgeous sunshine. The Etsy witches work. What? But anyways, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Etsy, I think the Etsy witches are in business. How much does it cost to hire an Etsy witch? Anyways, I'm getting distracted. But outfit of the day. It's a rogue sunny day, so I'm wearing a cute little sunny outfit. Can I actually stand up? Ooh. So I've got this little wrap top on. This is vintage from Soph's shop. I've got a little fruity booty bra on. That is actually the wrong size, so it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. And then... Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to stand up. I'm going to send a picture to Kat so she can put it on the screen. But I'm wearing capris. I'm wearing some reject modernity capris, embrace tradition pedal pushers. I am wearing some 3/4 length. And this is the thing. It's cute. I know that I look cute, but it's one of those things where like I don't wear this outfit very often, and I feel like I'm going to go to the pub later, and I feel like I am going to get there, and I'm planning on wearing like these like sporty ballerina shoes. And I'm going to be like, everybody in this pub knows that I don't usually wear these shoes or this top. Actually, no, the shoes are new. Let me start that again. Everybody at this pub is going to know that I never usually wear these trousers and these shoes are brand new. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so weird when you start like wearing something new that you do sort of inherently feel like you're wearing a costume. And sorry, should I tell you guys what I'm up to this weekend, being as it's freedom weekend? I went out and spent a proper day out for the first time yesterday. Absolutely exhausted after, but that's normal apparently, my mum told me. But today I'm going to the pub because I can now drink, so I'm not on my antibiotics anymore. And tomorrow, I'm going on a mooch. Guys, I'm just going to mooch. I think that's what I've missed the most, because I haven't really been able... Obviously, last time I left, oh my God, my brain, was 2 weekends ago. So nearly 2 weeks before, I've been able to, live normally. And even then, I'm still a little bit I really miss mooching. I miss mooching. Mooching is a fine art. There's an art to mooching. And if you don't know what I mean by mooching, which I'm sure we all do, but if you don't know what I mean by mooching, basically I just want to wander. I just want to wander aimlessly. I want to have a few spots I want to go to, but I just want to wander. So, and this is the thing, because I'm just had surgery, so I need to take it a bit easy. I can't go full pelt mooching down Brick Lane and in Shoreditch. Too much for me right now. So I'm going to mooch in Finsbury Park. I have a few spots that I want to hit. There's this sandwich place I want to go to, forgotten the name. Handy. But there's loads of sandwich places in Finsbury Park, to be fair. But I want to go to this specific sandwich shop and get a sandwich. I then want to have a mooch and go to Book Bar, independent bookstore. Have a mooch. Hopefully they have coffee table books. Love a coffee table book. I actually don't need a coffee table book. I'm not going to buy a coffee table book, sorry. Range of emotions. And I want to go to the Crisis charity shop there. 3 spots on the mooch. The person that I'm mooching with, he needs to go pick up his glasses. So there's 4 spots to the mooch. Plus, let's say we hit 2, 3 pubs. That's the key to the mooch, guys. Every spot in the mooch needs to be interspersed. Not every spot, maybe every other spot needs to be interspersed with either a pint or a pastry. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm mooching tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to mooch. But the thing is, I don't think the weather's going to be great. But I don't care. I don't care because I now have the freedom to mooch-ish. It's a mooch-ish. No, you know what? It's a mooch. It's just not a full-on mooch. Like Shoreditch is a full-on mooch. Finsbury Park, Angel, Islington. That's like a nice mooch. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, sorry. Oh my God. So, as I mentioned, I had surgery. As I mentioned, I had appendicitis and I wanted to ease myself back in with a podcast episode. Just a fun, silly one. I didn't want to have to research. I wanted this to come off the top of the dome. I mean, I've made a list, but like my expanded thoughts on the list, guys, it's coming off the top of the dome. And it's been a while since I've done one of these. I'm kind of nervous, but you know what? This is really fun. And if you guys do want more episodes like this, more like, you know, top of the dome, not necessarily discourse heavy episodes, then please let me know. But in today's episode, I want to talk about things that I think are chic. And I want to make it clear. Oh God, am I having to put a disclaimer on a things that are chic episode? Yeah. Well, to be fair, this isn't even a disclaimer to be like, explain myself. This is more like, I don't want the chic police up in the comments being like, that's not what chic means. Chic is subjective. And I think chic, it's a mind, not even a mindset, but chic means something different to everyone. I think some people think of chic a bit objectively, where they think of like something from like Aritzia is chic. Quiet luxury, that's chic. I'm not thinking of chic in that way. I'm thinking of chic as more like, oh, that's chic. But I'm not meaning it in the objective, I mean it in a subjective way. Do you know what I mean? And these, like, I saw these videos were quite popular a few months ago, naturally always late to the trend. But I wanted to talk about some things. I mean, this is just a list of things I like. But I said, no, not even a things I like. These are things that I really like. This is a list of things that I think I really like, and that in turn are chic. And I will say, something I noticed as I was reading the chic list out. First of all, I don't want any chic police. I don't want any back chic drivers. Anyone? No? Sorry. Anyways, when I was making this list, I realized that many of these things are things that I do. Many of these things are things that I do. And my response to that is, in the words of RuPaul, if you aren't going to love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love somebody else? Can I get an amen? I don't think I have an excuse or an explanation as to why many of these things that I think are chic or that I know are chic also align with what I do. Is that insufferable? Maybe, but it's just a bit fun. It's tongue-in-cheek, Danielle. It's tongue-in-cheek. It's funny. Anyways, let's get ourselves into it. Number one, having a uniform. And what I mean by that is not in the literal sense of like having a school uniform or having a uniform for work. I mean when you see that people, the silhouettes that they go for, the clothing silhouettes that they go for are very similar. And they have a very similar outfit formula that they repeat over and over again. But it looks really good. And you know what? I know that it's not like, I was about to say, it's like in real life branding, personal style. It's like, and I know that, see, this is the thing. I don't even want to say personal style because I think that personal style is like such a TikTok buzzword. And I think that like, you know, with personal style almost has negative connotations now. Like when you say someone has no personal style, it's like a bit of it is an insult. And I mean, I guess it's sort of related to, you can see that someone has personal style, but I think when someone has a uniform, you can tell they really know themselves. I think that's what I'm more drawn to. Not this whole like, oh, they definitely have personal style. I'm more drawn to the fact that they clearly know themselves. They're comfortable in themselves. And I think also the great thing about a uniform is that people's uniforms, I've noticed, are as functional as they are fashionable. And a lot of the time, and this is in my experience, because I feel like I have a bit of a uniform where I usually wear nice top trousers, Salomons. Like that's my uniform because I have like a 20-minute walk from my office to the tube station. So I wear trainers every day. I'm not going to wear boots. I'm not going to wear a skirt, especially because where I work, it's like I don't work in Central. I don't work in like a hip East London area. I work in like a fairly residential area. So I'm not going to be turning out looks when I go to work every day. I'm just going to be wearing like what clothes make me comfortable. And in turn, I have a uniform. And I just love when people have it because they know themselves, and uniform is as fashionable as it is functional. And you can tell that when someone has a uniform, it is a outfit formula that just fits their lifestyle. And I think there's something about clothes that are lived in. And I think this is why I love vintage fashion so much, number one. And number two, why I get a little self-conscious if I'm wearing like a lot of new things in an outfit, because I don't like it when clothes look new. I like it when clothes look worn. I like it when someone wears something all the time. One of the other things in my list is having a favorite pair of jeans, and this falls into this. Like when someone has a favorite pair of jeans, that's just chic. And when someone wears this pair of jeans with absolutely everything, can turn a casual look, fancy look, chic. I think I'm very drawn to when clothes are lived in. I'm very drawn to when anything is lived in. I think that in this day and age, you know, everything is so new, and that also, you know, the things which are being made, clothes, products, they're like so much lower quality now because they're being mass produced on such a large scale via like very cheap labor. Everything, like things aren't really built to last anymore. So everything is just so new. And I think I'm so drawn to things that aren't new. And I feel like a uniform is almost representative of like a life lived. I love a life lived. And you know what? Sorry, I'm starting to group this all together. I think a favorite pair of jeans falls into that. And I also think when people have like a go-to jewelry stack or like signature earrings, signature necklace. Oh God, who said that? This signature earrings, signature necklace. I know I'm talking about myself. I'm sorry. I know it's insufferable. Like it's just, I just love it. I love a life lived. I love a life lived in the way that it's like, I wish that I could do this myself. I love that people do junk journals. I'm just not like, I don't collect enough things to create a junk journal. But you know what? I have like a little, like plastic pouch full of like all the physical things that I'm collecting, because maybe one day I'll make a junk journal, or maybe like one day I'll like frame it, or I don't know. I'm keeping it for something. I love when people like have physical manifestations of a life lived, whether it's an outfit they're wearing, jewelry that they've got on, a junk journal full of like physical memories. Oh, chef's kiss. The next thing is having an essentials pouch in your handbag. This is something which, I wish that I could do this. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I used to do this. So when I had an essentials pouch, it was actually when I was a very active dater. Have I spoken about this on the podcast before? I'm not sure if I have, but I used to be a really active dater. Like I hinged the house down. Like I could play Hinge like a fiddle. Like I was always getting the dates in, and I was having a lot of fun doing so. I think at one point I went on 4 first dates in 1 week, and I had an absolute blast. My close friend story went triple platinum that week. But anyways, so when I was a very active dater, I always used to keep an essentials pouch in my handbag, because in case, I mean, it was like sometimes it would be unplanned if I like slept with someone. Then other times I'd be like going on a third date, and I'd be like, oh, tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. I'm home or away. Tonight's the night. But anyway, so that was when I used to keep an essentials pouch. And so it was more like, no, it wasn't an essentials. It was more like overnight essentials. So what did I used to keep in there? I used to keep, there used to be these really mini like Neutrogena makeup wipes that used to be like one packet with like one wipe inside. I used to keep a few of those in there. So bad for the environment, by the way. Would not recommend doing that. But the makeup makeup wipe packs are usually so big, and this pouch was like literally the size of like a tiny little pencil case. So I used to keep a couple of those in there. I used to keep, you know, Wild deodorant have the refills. I used to keep a Wild deodorant refill in there. Pop that in there. I used to keep a mini hairbrush that had a compact mirror, so it used to like close. I used to keep that in there. Foldable toothbrush, mini toothpaste. Guys, you know what? Spare underwear. And is this TMI? No, because you know what? I have vaginismus, and we're normalizing vaginismus in this house. I always used to keep a little bottle of lube, because honestly, I mean, would you be surprised about the amount of like men that don't keep lube in their house? Maybe. Is that a surprising fact? I don't really know. Well, maybe you'd be surprised or not, but like a lot of guys don't have lube on them. And I don't know whether that's just like a vaginismus thing that like because like sorry, this is really TMI, but when I do sleep with someone, I like usually have to use lube. And so like I have that stuff on me all the time. I was like surprised about the amount of men, especially, God, is this too much information? It was also, I wasn't always surprised. Like I'd be like, you know what, fair enough. Like, you know, you don't keep it on you, and like you don't have it in the house. Like, cool, whatever. But like, I might cut this out. But when they have a really, really big, you're literally like, why the fuck don't you have lube? Like, no, like, am I crazy for thinking that? Am I unreasonable? Why am I having to bring my own lube when it's the size of a smart water bottle? What? Anyway, sorry. Let's move on. So that was when I had an essentials pouch, was when I dated and I didn't know whether I was going to unexpectedly stay at someone's house. But like having an essentials pouch where it's like little bits of your makeup, chewing gum, painkillers. What else would you keep in an essentials pouch? Lip balm, mints. You know, basically like an essentials pouch that you like switch from bag to bag, because I change bags all the time. Like, that's chic. That's chic. I wish I still had my essentials pouch, but alas. Anyways, next, you know what? I would like to say I would love, why am I saying firstly as if I haven't spoken for about 30 minutes straight? Anyway, I would want to know what you guys think is chic. I know I said I didn't want the chic police. By the chic police, I don't think, what I mean is I don't want people to be like, that's not chic, as in like, that's not what chic means. If you want to tell me that something on my list isn't chic, by all means, be my guest. I want to hear it. But I also want to hear about the things that you think are chic. Anyways, number 3, receding hairlines. So I watched The White Lotus season 3. Walton Goggins, fit. How many shots? 1 for courage. 1 for bravery. I think that a lot of subversions of beauty standards, I think the particular era of beauty standard that we're in right now is very clinical. You know, it's like faces have to be symmetrical, skin has to be smooth, faces have to be unmoving, hair has to be perfect, thick, long, healthy. We're in a very like clinical, sanitized, flat era of beauty standards. And I think any subversion of that, I find it very attractive. I've spoken about it before that I find crooked teeth really, really attractive. It was actually, when I had Hinge, it was actually one of my Hinge prompts. It was something like the way, I can't remember what it was, but it was like da-da-da-da, and then it was like crooked teeth, kiss. I put crooked teeth, kiss. So I find crooked teeth very attractive. And I think Walton Goggins was so fit was because of his like presence and aura, but also receding hairline. And you know what, so this is the thing, I don't always like give male beauty standards much thought sometimes, because I do think welcome to our world. like welcome, like we've been going through this for like however many years, join the club. But you know what, like the more that I've thought about it, because I didn't realize how common hair transplants are amongst celebrity men and famous men. Nearly every famous man has gotten a hair transplant, did you know? And there's there's no receding hairline representation. And I was chatting to someone about it the other day, where they were telling me that like on the football, every football player gets a hair transplant, and if like you see their hairline is receding in the last season, then the next season comes around and they've got a completely straight hairline. And he was telling me like, obviously don't want to say like all men watch football, but like a lot of men watch football, so they're not even being represented in the sport that they watch all the time. I don't know, I just think any ownership over something that is a subversion of like these very like clinical beauty standards, I always think is a win. Like it's like when you look at old pictures of celebrities like in 2000s carpets, and they don't look completely perfect because they've got crooked teeth and they've got like, normal makeup on and their hair's a bit messy, and people used to go to the red carpet in jeans. Bring that back. I said this in a past episode, so I won't stay on this long, but a nice butter with flaky sea salt, that's so chic. That is so chic. And you know what I think especially is chic? Having a butter dish. Having a butter dish is so chic. Next thing is hanging out with your parents outside of family functions. This feels like growing up. So like not only did I go out with Jack and his mum for her birthday, that doesn't count as a family function because it was just us 3. But also my parents came and visited me, and Jack came and hung out with my parents. We all had lunch together. Guys, hanging out with your parents is the vibe. Like, I had such a blast. I mean, to be fair, I talk to my mum every day. But like, I just had a blast. Hanging out with your parents, like just hanging out with your parents because you want to, chic. Having a sandwich making night to try and revive your stepdad's love of sandwiches after it was pummeled, trying to prepare 50 mini sandwiches for my sister's 30th birthday, chic. You know if you know. It's annoying that I can't say smoking cigarettes without saying like, I'm not endorsing smoking cigarettes. But like, also I guess I kind of am endorsing smoking cigarettes. You guys are all old enough to make your own decisions. You know, you guys know the risks of smoking cigarettes. I take that risk. I'm going to buy a pack of Vogues from the shop today when I go to the pub. But smoking cigarettes, but it's in two settings that I think smoking cigarettes are chic. Number one, which I think is the obvious one, is al fresco. The European cigarette, if you will. You're sat outside. It can be any time of day. You've got a drink. It can either be a coffee or an alcoholic drink, glass of wine. And it's sunny. And it could be cold, but the sky is blue. And you're having a cigarette. Oh, holiday cigarette as well. But you know, holiday cigarette sort of falls under the al fresco cigarette umbrella. So smoking cigarette al fresco. The second one is in a suit outside your corporate office in the city. And you're like stress smoking. Why is that chic? I don't know whether I'm being like, please let me know if I'm being out of touch and insufferable, because maybe it's because I don't work in the corporate environment. Like I work in the creative industry, / I'm self-employed, that like I can't quite like recreate the magic of like leaving my office and having a stress cigarette because I just work on my own. So I'm just going to come back stinking of cigarettes and I'm going to stink out my office and I'll just be by myself. Like what's the fun in that? You get bonus points, actually. So you're either in a suit or like you're in your little pencil skirt, which by the way, when I say suit, I'm not coding that as male because women wear suits too. But you're in your corporate city garb. In London, if you guys aren't from the UK. So London, there's like a part of London called the city, which is like the corporate, what's it called? Epicenter. It's the corporate epicenter of London. And it's actually called the city. So you're in the city and you have your work garb on. Is that the right word? I hope so. You have your work garments on and you're having a cigarette and you're like round the corner from the entrance of your glass walled office. And you get bonus points if your colleague comes out to join you and you bitch about your colleagues or you bitch about your work or you bitch about your deadlines together. Yeah. And like you're stress smoking, you're like this, and you like put it out and you stomp it out. Wow, that's chic. Benedict and Hannah Townsend. Guys, I would like to say I know Benedict and Hannah, and I think I've only met them like once or twice because they are doing their thing. Hashtag talk of the Townsends. They're doing their thing, and I'm so happy for them. And so they're like everywhere, right? I see them always on my TikTok, and they're at every premiere, and I love that for them. So sometimes I think I've met them once or twice. I can't remember, and they're both so nice. They're both so nice, right? They are chic. Benedict and Hannah Townsend are chic. You can't tell me they're not chic. Like, just as a couple chic, what they do chic. The fact that they've got a formula for their podcast, what's it called, strategy down, chic. They're just a chic looking couple. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Also, like, someone might send this to them and they might be like, Jordan, they might be like to each other, we literally met this girl once, she's really weird, but me and Jack were literally saying, like, we were making the chic list, and he was like, Benedict and Hannah Townsend are so chic. And I was like, that's so true. But anyways, so next thing is a pop of colour. A pop of colour is very chic. Like, if you have like full, like plain, because I wear a lot of black, right? And I wear like a lot of muted colours. But you have like, I recently got this it's not even hot pink, I probably say it's like bubblegum pink lace bra. And I have like this black top and you can sort of see a peak of the hot pink in like my black top. Chic. Or like having a proper pop of colour nail. Like I've seen a few people wearing like neon nails. I'm stuck with my next nail set, whether to get like a metallic nail art or whether to get neon pink. And like the neon pink is like my pop of colour. But I'm not sure if I'll get sick of it. But will I? Guys, because it's pop of colour. I just love a pop of colour. And also it's like, not just in clothes. Where else can you have a pop of colour? No, I guess it kind of is just clothes, isn't it? Yeah, but anyways, I think a pop of colour is very chic. The next thing that I think is chic is phoning people without warning just to have a chat. My friend Herbie is CEO, CCO, and founder of Calling You Up Just for a Chat. He rings me and I always answer going, hey, Herbalicious. And then he's like, what have you been up to? And then we chat on the phone and it's just fantastic. I love it. I think we need to bring back calling up people on the phone. I know that like a lot of people don't agree with it. But this is the thing, is that I think with texting, first of all, text can be so easily ignored. I'm so bad at replying to my texts. But also if even someone rings you like, oh, by the way, like, can we organize this thing? It makes you get out your diary and actually organize it then and now. But then you might end up staying on the phone and having a little chat for 10 minutes. And what's not to love? What's not to love? What else have we got? Oh, heirloom tomatoes. That's an obvious one though. I guess like those tomatoes have a lot of associations with Loewe. Like Loewe feature heirloom tomatoes. So such a stupid sentence. Loewe feature heirloom tomatoes in their marketing a lot. So maybe that's where it comes from. But also like those tomatoes are so beautiful. And I don't think I've ever eaten an heirloom tomato before. And I just want to slice it and sprinkle it in salt and put like a burrata with it. Actually, you know what? I've definitely had an heirloom tomato with burrata. But anyways, I actually think, guys, it's the end of tomato season. I am obsessed with, there's this woman that I follow on TikTok. I'm trying to retrain myself to say woman instead of girl. But there's this woman that I follow on TikTok, and she has kids and she has a husband, and she is like a professional, I'm pretty sure she's like almost like a professional gardener. Like she teaches people how to grow vegetables in their garden, then will come and like harvest them for them and stuff. And she does her own. And let me tell you, through following her, I know exactly what vegetables are in season right now. And let me tell you, tomatoes are coming to the end of the season. Unfortunate, but but it's okay because we've got some really wintry vegetables coming up. We've got some wintry vegetables coming up. We've got like, I can't remember the name of it, but you know, guys, potato season's just around the corner, or it's all year potato season. We've got potato season. We've got some leaky greens. We've got like some wintry cabbage. I can't remember the name of it, but wintry cabbage is around the corner. Some like ground veg, some swede. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely swede season for sure. My next thing that I think is chic is not wearing makeup to the function. And you get bonus points for not apologizing or explaining yourself. Something which I'm trying, it's so crazy, like as a woman, and I'm sure everyone feels like this actually, but I think especially it's like the pressure is obviously a lot heavier on women. Like when I feel like my makeup doesn't look good, or when I go somewhere without makeup on, I always say like, oh God, I haven't got any makeup on today. Even if I just acknowledge I haven't got makeup on, even if I'm not apologizing, I'm just acknowledging it. I still think acknowledging it is a way of explaining yourself, like why you look like that. I think that like showing up to the function without any makeup on, which is like what Pamela Anderson's doing. Like she doesn't wear makeup at all anymore. And it's actually such a shame that like her not wearing makeup is like almost like newsworthy stories, like discourse worthy, which like, I mean, that's not a criticism of her at all. It's more a criticism of like the culture and like how all encompassing women's beauty standards are, that like if we don't wear makeup, as a celebrity who decides to not wear makeup anymore has to like really, you know, put her foot down and be like, yeah, I'm not doing this, and like make a statement, which I think the statement is objectively good. Because, you know, as women, we shouldn't feel pressured to wear makeup all the time, but I do. And I will say, I used to feel awful without makeup on. Now I don't feel like that. But I will say that I am in like, when I am wearing makeup, when I'm not wearing makeup and I'm out and about doing something with my friends, I know I'd be having like a better time. Like even if it was just a fraction of a better time if I had makeup on. Because when you catch yourself like in the reflection of a window in the mirror, that you get a bit of a shock. And I don't want to be like that anymore. But the next thing is fridge magnets. If you've seen, I'm going to put a picture in of mine and Jack's fridge. We love fridge magnets. I can't even say we're collecting fridge magnets because Jack travels a lot. He travels a lot for work. He enjoys traveling. He goes on holiday a lot. He picks up magnets wherever he goes. He FaceTimes me when he's in the store and we choose them together. So it feels like a housemate thing. But yeah, so he's collecting fridge magnets, but I'm helping him choose them. And I just love fridge magnets. I love them. And again, it's just that return to something physical, bringing back a physical memento from a trip, and it's like you have that memory forever. And it's the thing, it's such a good conversation starter, like conversation piece. Like when I have people over, they'll be like looking at all the locations, and they'll obviously ask Jack like, oh, and Jack always has a story for everyone, and he always like, oh God, I remember this place and it was like this and this and this, like stunning. Not having TikTok. I think not having TikTok is chic. It's weird actually, because I feel like I am almost in a bit of a good place with like my TikTok consumption, where I'm following a lot of like creative people and I'm getting so much good like fashion inspiration and creative inspiration from TikTok. You can like make TikTok work for you, but I think when someone goes like, oh, I don't have TikTok, that is chic. Or like my friend Dom brought up something where he said that not having TikTok is mature, but not having Instagram is chic. But also like Dom is part of my friends that skew a bit older, like 28, 30, where like most of them just use Instagram reels and find out about everything 2 weeks later. The next thing I think is like definitely like this is chic. I know this is all chic, but like this is chic, and it's throwing a trench coat over a casual outfit. My mum is CEO of throwing a trench coat over a casual outfit. It just looks cool. I think like, do you remember when everyone was talking about wrong shoe theory? And although everything on TikTok is a theory and it sounds kind of stupid, but there is a point to like when something almost doesn't match that it makes it work. And I think that throwing a trench coat over a casual outfit, I just love it. And also it shows that like, yeah, I just wear my trench coat. Yeah, I'm not even thinking about it. And you know, again, maybe I'm drawn to this because it's like the functionality is what I'm really drawn to. This is an obvious one, soft lighting. Only thing that gets me through the winter is my pink IKEA lamp. The next thing is chic is investigative podcasts. I have listened to so many good investigative podcasts. I really recommend actually listening to the Sweet Bobby investigative podcast, because there was a documentary by the same name, Sweet Bobby, which is about the same case. But the Netflix documentary barely touches the surface of like what actually happened. And I think what the documentary wants to answer is why this happened. So I love investigative podcasts. Tortoise Media do the best ones. I'm currently listening. So actually, I'm surprised that I haven't actually properly listened to this. There is a podcast by Tortoise Media called Who Trolled Amber. And I have avoided listening for so long because if you don't know, I feel like I've made it like quite clear, but I was like always riding for Amber Heard from the moment that trial caught my attention, because I knew that something was up, and then I did my research and I was like, yeah, I believe her. And I think that year, which I think was 2022 when the trial happened, was like honestly like some of the like lowest levels of like humanity that I saw on social media from like people that I knew. I think that's what threw me, was that like I saw so many people I know posting like misogynistic, awful things about Amber Heard. And when I like, you know, like publicly supported her, I got so much abuse for it that I almost like, it sounds stupid, but like I felt like, I was like, I actually don't think I can listen to it. Like when the podcast came out, I was like, I actually don't think I can listen to it. Like I actually think it would like trigger me. But basically, first of all, Sweet Bobby's about catfishing scandal. But Who Trolled Amber is about the bot campaign against Amber Heard during her and Johnny Depp's defamation trial. It's like really, really fantastic so far. And I'd recommend listening to it. I would recommend anyone listening to it. I also really like Wondery podcasts. Another really good investigative podcast. I listened to one about mad cow disease. I listened to another one about Shamima Begum. Like there's so many good ones, and it's like a really they're always so engaging. They're always done so well. I love investigative podcasts. And then I guess it's sort of in the same like intellectual realm. I just love seeing a stack of books. And I will say again, maybe it's because I live with Jack that there's just stacks of books everywhere. I just love seeing stacks of books around the house, especially because like I feel like the stack of books, it always means something. There's always a story behind the stack of books. I guess the stack of books is almost like a bit of a time capsule, isn't it? This one is it feels like a bit of a, oh my God, is this the last one? Oh, I had so much fun recording this episode. I didn't really run to the last one. I think I left this one to last because it's like a bit of an obvious one, but I recently got a pair of wired headphones. Guys, you know what? Everyone is onto something with the switch to wire headphones. They're cheap-ish. They're 20 quid, which is much cheaper than AirPods. The sound quality is really good. And I'm saying this as someone who, you guys know, I like listen to my sets. I'm like I like to hear the bass, all of this. The sound quality is really good. And you can replace them really easily. Like I love my wired headphones and I can always find my phone. But yeah, I just wanted to share some things that I think are chic. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I had so much fun recording it, and I hope you guys don't mind this like more casual, chatty episode this week. I'm easing myself back in. Next, don't worry, guys, we'll be back onto the discourse. Don't worry. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week for another one. Bye.